Hello class and welcome to CIS289 Python 2. This class is section WH1 CRN 14330 and we will be meeting Tuesdays from 9:40 to 11:05 Central Time on Blackboard Collaborate. In this video I'm just going to run through some getting started stuff and some very quick Blackboard navigation stuff. If you're in this course, presumably you've been in Blackboard before. However, there was an upgrade to Blackboard over the summer, so the navigation, well, similar, is just a little bit different. So I'm just going to make sure you know where everything is and understand our class environment. So, a couple of getting started things. The syllabus can be found in Blackboard. I'll show you where to find that, but in the syllabus, as well as the Your Instructor section, you can find information for contacting me. The main ways to contact me: my DMACC email address is the quickest and easiest way to get a hold of me. I also do have my personal cell phone number in both the syllabus as well as in the Your Instructor section. Please note that it is my personal cell phone number, so use it wisely. I obviously am not going to answer the phone in the middle of the night. And if you want to have a phone conversation with me, it's good to contact me first via email whenever possible so we can schedule a time. I'm not typically someone who will answer random phone calls, so I won't recognize your number, so I probably won't pick up the phone. So planning ahead will help with that, and scheduling times to talk and things of that nature will be ideal there. Continuing on, expectations. This is going to be an intensive course. We're getting into some really cool stuff, some more advanced Python stuff. That being said, you really don't want to fall behind in this course. One way to avoid that is to participate early each week. That way you can read the materials, you can start trying to do the code, the assignments, so you can make sure that you won't get stuck. Because if everybody gets stuck on the night the assignments due and everybody sends me an email with questions, I'm not going to be able to answer everybody's questions in time, and then you end up with turning in late work. And speaking of turning in late work, if you do turn in work late, you will incur a 50% deduction, and I do accept late work up to 7 days after the due date with that deduction. But after that 1 week, I will no longer accept late work. But please don't get into that perpetual thing where you're turning in late work just before the folder disappears, because you're just not going to do well in the course that way. Next item here, a non-attendance. DMACC requires that I report non-attendance for any students that are not attending the class within the first week of the beginning of classes. Because this is a virtual course, I can't check to see if you're in the room. So the best ways to show that you're attending is to log into Blackboard and get your Introduce Yourself discussion board done. That way I know you are at least actively participating. I will need you to have that done by August 31st. Anybody that doesn't have it done by then will get put in as non-attending, and it's a pain in the butt to get put back in the course after you get knocked up for non-attending. So just go ahead and get that done so you don't have to worry about it. Continuing halfway through the semester, DMACC also requires that I report quit attending for students. I consider a student to be quit attending if they are at 40% or less in the course at that point. So if they're doing very poorly, essentially. And they will also be dropped if they have not turned in any homework for 2 consecutive weeks and have not logged into Blackboard for 10 consecutive days at that point. This is really to the student's benefit. If you're in this situation where you're below 40% at the midterm, or you haven't done 2 consecutive weeks of work, you're probably going to fail the course anyway. So getting a quit attending is actually, in most cases, better than getting an F. But please avoid them. Quit attending, not attending, just do the work, keep caught up, and you should be okay. I do expect the students review and understand the class syllabus. If you read through it and you have any questions, please let me know. At the end of the syllabus, there is a planned course schedule that you can look through to see what we're going to be going through each week. Some tips on how to be successful. I've already said this, but it's worth saying twice. Put in that effort early in the week. That way, if you get blocks, we can get those blocks taken care of before you run out of time to get your assignment turned in. Don't fall behind. Again, as I already said, because we're going through so much material, falling behind is going to make it quite difficult to get caught back up again. And then please please ask questions of me or your fellow students. As a developer, I know most of you like to try to solve problems, and I'm glad that you want to do that. But if you've been hammering your head against something for a day or more, you really should be reaching out for assistance so we can get you past that and get you moving on to whatever's next in the assignment. A couple of ways to do that. As I mentioned earlier, you can email me. You are allowed to work with your fellow students. You have to do your own work, but you can work with them. So if you find a student that you want to work with on assignments, that can be helpful. There's also the Q&A section. I will show that here shortly in the Blackboard environment where you can post questions or answer questions for your fellow students. I pay attention to that Q&A discussion board. I get notified when somebody puts a question in, so I can attempt to answer that as well. But it is really nice to see when students are helping each other, because if you all end up becoming developers, you're going to be working on teams, and you need to be comfortable with not knowing every answer and being able to work as a team. Okay, so continuing on to the Blackboard environment. Here is our class environment. You can see, I'm going to just close this out. This is the main area of Blackboard. If you log into Blackboard, it might take you to the institution page. You just have to click down in courses. Obviously, you're not going to have the same courses as me. If you've been here multiple semesters, which most of you probably have, it might not be in the right section at the top. You can see that I can click between these views. So you'll just want to be on the one that is for 2021-01 fall 2020. And then you can see all the courses that you're actively part of currently. And this class is obviously Python 2. So once you're in there, it immediately takes you to the announcements page. Each week there will be a generic announcement that will look like this, that just says, hey, here's the due date for the next module. Here's all of the items that need to be completed in that module. So those are generic. You should pay attention to them, but one of those will appear at the same time that the new folder appears each week. I also put periodic announcements in here for things like any kind of class changes that may be occurring, or a cancellation, or if somebody has found an issue with an assignment, or if I'm getting a question repeatedly from students, I will put a posting out about that. So it's worth paying attention to. It's just a communication hub for me with the entire class, and I would hope that you would pay attention to that to your benefit. So that's the announcements section. Over here on the left, very similar to how it used to be. You can get into the syllabus section here to download our class syllabus. You can go into the Your Instructor section to see a picture of my beautiful face, as well as some information about me and my contact information. And then the next one down here is course content. So if you click on course content, that is where you start getting into the actual modules for the class. And you can see here the first module is Module 1. These other ones are going to be hidden for you at the beginning of the course. They will come live as they become available, but Module 1 will be available from the first day of class. Just like with the announcements, you can see that there's some information about what's in this module and a due date for that module, so you definitely want to pay attention to that. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom here because I want to show you this right here. This is something to pay attention to. So you can see it says no work accepted below here, and then the folders below here are for reference only. No work will be accepted. So as the semester progresses, modules become due, then modules become overdue, and after 7 days of overdue, the module will disappear. What I do then manually is I will go into that module, I will make the assignments no longer available, and then I'm going to make the module reappear so you can reference the information in that module, even though you won't be able to submit any more assignments for that module. At that point, the module will show below this line. So as the semester goes, more and more modules will fall below this line. This is an indication that nothing will be accepted for those modules anymore. Just something you need to be aware of. And then once you come in here and you want to actually begin working, you go into the module. This is just junk for me. You won't see that stuff. And right here you can see topic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Each module is broken down into these topics. I would suggest you want to just do them in order. There are some modules where you don't have to do them in order, but typically it's good to just follow them from top to bottom and do the work in each one of the folders. You can see this folder or this module down here, as well as every module will say completed during module X, and it will show all of the assignments that need to be completed for that module. You want to pay attention to this to make sure that you have an assignment submitted for each one of these a submission for each one of these assignments completed. It shows you which folder they're in or which topic they're in and how much they're worth and if they meet one of the class competencies. This is an atypical module. Because this is a level 2 course and it's very intensive, there's a lot we're trying to do this semester, this is the only week of review. And there is a lot here. I'm trying to get you to refamiliarize yourself with the topics from Python 1 that we went through, and trying to do it quickly so we can get into the new materials right away. This week is going to be intensive in this course. You can see there's the generic stuff here at the beginning that you need to step through, and then down here, these are review topics. So you need to go through built-in data types, functions, if, else, try, except, for, range, while. Like each one of these folders you need to go through, familiarize yourself, and do the assignment. If these assignments are really, really hard for you, you need to either move quickly to get yourself caught up and comfortable again, or you need to think about maybe you're not ready for this course. These should be review from what was done in Python 1. Anyway, so you won't see another week where we're going to have 9 topics like this. This is an atypical week. After that, you can see here's that help Q&A section I was talking about. There is one of these in each module. One of the unfortunate things about this is you cannot subscribe to all of them at once. You have to subscribe to each module. So try to remember each week to subscribe to the Q&A module just by going here and hitting subscribe. That way, if somebody puts in a posting, you would get an email notifying you that a posting has been put in at your DMACC email address. Also, each week, I will be putting in my lecture notebook as a Q&A topic. So you'll want to be able to come in here and download that notebook. So if I click here, you can see I've got the notebook for download as a Jupyter notebook, and I've also got it available as a PyCharm openable notebook. So you would be able to take that code with you. All of this code is also available at my GitHub repo, which I do need to put a link here so you can get it there as well. So that's generally what we're going through. I would just say, get yourself started, get this module 1 stuff knocked out so that we can start getting into the more interesting stuff.